Now to the latest in the Karen Reed murder retrial. The second week of testimony gets underway this morning. We're going to speak with Dan Abrams in a moment. But first, here's our Eva Pilgrim. Hey, Eva.
Reed heading back into court this morning, accused of running down her then boyfriend, a local cop, John O'Keefe. Now, so far, prosecutors trying to establish a motive, calling a paramedic who treated Reed, testifying that she told him she and John O'Keefe were fighting the night O'Keefe died. They also brought into evidence her blood alcohol level. A pathologist who oversaw the testing say the blood draw was taken a little after 9 the next morning. Reed measuring .093, the legal limit for driving in Massachusetts, .08. The jury also visiting the crime scene, the home where O'Keefe was found outside in the snow. Reed's SUV towed in so jurors could see her broken taillight. Now, Reed addressing cameras outside the courthouse after the visit, saying she hopes she never has to go back to that house again. This is Reed's second trial. Her first ended with a hung jury. Reed alleging a police misconduct and a cover-up. Reed didn't take the stand in her first trial. It will be interesting to see if she makes that same decision again in this one. This trial is expected to last another 7 to 8 weeks. George.
Okay, Eva, thanks. Let's bring in our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. Dan, welcome back. What's the big difference between this and the first trial?
I think you have an advantage for each side in this case. On the prosecution side, Karen Reed did an interview after the verdict last time, which is not helpful to her. She made a comment that she might have clipped him with her car. That's not something that is helpful to the defense at all. That's the advantage on the prosecution side. On the defense side, you've got the fact that you have all of these witnesses who testified in the first case, and now you have the defense cross-examining them saying, wait a sec, that's not exactly what you said in the first trial, is it? Your testimony's a little bit different this time, isn't it? To try to undermine the credibility of those witnesses, I think that's an advantage for the defense.
And because of that interview, do you think it's likely that she'll have to testify this time around?
That's a good question. I think it makes it more likely that she would testify, but I still don't expect she's going to testify. Why? Because the defense still wants to keep the attention on the problems with the prosecution's case. If she testifies, this case becomes about her testimony, her credibility, inconsistent statements she made. I don't think that's where the defense wants this case to go, and as a result, I don't think she's going to testify.
And speaking of the defense, they hired an alternate juror from the first trial to be on their team. How important could that be? Could that have an impact?
I have never seen this happen before.
Allowed?
Yeah, it's allowed. And by the way, she's not just an alternate juror, she's a lawyer. Wow. So she's been hired by the legal team for the defense to work as a lawyer for their team. Alternate juror in the first case, heard the entire case. Is that an advantage? It's helpful. Look, a lot of times in high-profile cases, you'll get a mock jury being hired, right? Yeah. Which is they want to argue that now they have an actual juror, right, who heard the case the first time around, and she's serving as a lawyer for their team. But look, I don't think it's going to end up being the make or break thing here. This is a little bit of a different trial, but it certainly can't hurt.
You probably don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Why is that allowed? I mean, I would think they would lead jurors in a first trial to game what they're thinking.
Well, again, she's an attorney. They're allowed to hire an attorney to work on their team. I don't think there's anything legally that would prevent it, right? I mean, look, jurors can write books. Right? Yeah. They can disclose things about the case. So as a result, I think what's particularly unusual is the fact that she's also an attorney.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
Always something.
Always something. Thank you for that, man.